Est-ce que nous connaissons qui est une sorcière? A witch in English. Witchcraft. Wow, sounds scary already, right? En tout cas, nous n'avons pas besoin de peur parce que Valérie, il semblerait lui-même, il n'a pas peur à le rencontrer avec sorcière Sarah qui est Anastasia dans la zone New Orleans, elle a visité New Orleans. OK? So, pour qu'on y aille là nous-mêmes tout, nous pourrons aller, nous pourrons attendre. You know, kisa Valerio te interviewé lui. Nous pas faire connaissance avec sorcière ça qui c'est Anastasia pour nous donner exactement about witchcraft. Don't get spooky now. Anyway, on allait on entendre exactement qui ça et Anastasia as a witch is going to tell us. Should we be scared or not? Don't be. Let's go watch.
New Orleans is known to be a mystical city, and we're about to visit a mystical lady. She happens to be a witch. Yes, indeed, a witch, modern day witch. Let's find out. Her name is Anastasia, and we are in the city of New Orleans. Follow me. We're going to meet the witch of New Orleans. We are sitting with Anastasia. Thank you for having us. Voice of America, La Voix de l'Amérique in Creole, VOA Creole. It's such a pleasure and honor to be sitting with you. We're in New Orleans. Yes. They don't know who you are. Can you present yourself? I mean, those who don't know who you are. Present yourself in a nutshell.
Me in a nutshell, I am the mystic of New Orleans, so I've been told. I live a very spiritual life. I help others and am of service to others and to the community, pretty much on a spiritual level, not on any other level. I do read tarot cards. I do mediumship. I do energy work. I just want to help souls evolve. Okay, that's the bottom line. And that's what I do because I can.
Very well. We want to speak to you, and also because we're in New Orleans, which is a city, they call it a mystical city, and there is also a connection with the country of Haiti, with the religion of Vodou, and so much more. And we're sitting in front of this book here, The Vodou Priestess. Of course, her name sounds familiar to everybody who knows about Marie Laveau. Do you happen to have known her? What's the story behind Marie Laveau?
I don't know her or her family. Well, I know some of the family. However, the bottom line here is that the myth and the legend is she was from a woman born free, a woman of color. I believe when the Haitian Revolution came, when the influx of Haitians to New Orleans is where this started, with the voodoo. But she was a devout Catholic, and she used to assist those in the streets and orphans and whatnot when they were in need, just kind of like, I'm of service. So it's not the same, but it's the same. Mm-hmm. Marie Laveau was a very ingenious woman, very entrepreneur, from my understanding and what I was taught. And she had lots of children. So that's why she lived so long, because she had twins, and the twins, one of them was named Marie. So it expanded 100 years. Okay. And so that's where that part of the legend goes. I believe she was in her, 80s before she had become an ancestor. And she has done a lot for this city on a lot of levels in making, and when I say that, I mean making a difference within the culture, keeping things going, reminding people that oh, Saint Anne can be this sacred, she can be like, oh yeah, she can be like some of the Orishas. And that's what she did, is she replaced the saints with Orishas.
Very well.
And I don't think a lot of people caught on to that too much because they didn't speak Creole.
Correct.
So it worked.
It
But
worked.
she was very helpful within the community, like I said, and not being too repetitive. She had a hairdressing salon, and she catered to the people of influence in New Orleans. At that time, there were more opera houses here in New Orleans than they were in Paris. People don't realize that either. That's why the culture, I think, is still quite thick. Also with that, she had, from what I understand, was a sporting house called Maison Blanche.
I see.
And so I guess between the secrets of hairdressing and gentlemen going to the sporting house, she was able to help people in a different manner because she heard things, or her girls heard things, and made it possible. I know that she brought voodoo out into the public with Dr. John. They did this, who was another practitioner, because, as you know, voodoo is patriarchal, not matriarchal.
Correct.
In New Orleans, it's matriarchal.
Really?
Yes.
Very interesting.
So, from my understanding, I can be wrong. Somebody please correct me if I am. With that said, she got a hold of Dr. John, and then they started doing public rituals like on the summer solstice, or different kinds of days like that, celebrating the seasons and other voodoo holidays, for lack of terminology, pardon me,
Very well.
and honoring different ancestors at different times. With that said, people started coming, and that's how it all began. That wasn't here in New Orleans. That was across the lake in a place called Lacombe,
Okay.
Louisiana, which is about 60 miles from here,
Okay.
in the woods.
Okay.
And so that's how that started. And then she brought it all back. She's known to have helped people with court cases, and she's been known to help heal, but that is natural, what we would call today holistic healing using herbology, similar to, I guess, Chinese medicine with acupuncture and herbology.
Herbology, very well.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's,
which is-
it and that's part of my practice and what I do.
Okay.
I do use a lot of herbs. I do use a lot of crystals. I do use a lot of energy and
Similar to
work
the
that.
voodoo. Would you then, if you allow me, I mean,
Sure.
thank you for telling the story of Marie Laveau, but I wanted to start with her, but crossing over to you now, to kind of see where you, because I don't want to call you a voodoo priestess, which is not the case.
not.
So tell us what is your practice?
I don't really have a practice, but if you were to label it, because to me it's all dogma.
Okay.
And it's, to me, you must live it. I don't believe in religion. Those are philosophies,
Very well.
okay? The spirituality is what counts to me. So I am a witch, I would believe, a mystic, and I didn't dub myself the Mystic of New Orleans. A very old rock and roll band did back in the 70s, which is another story at another time.
Okay.
And they used to tour the world a whole lot. So that's how I got the name.
Interesting.
So
besides the name of being the mystic of New Orleans, you say that you're a witch.
Yes.
When you say that, there's so many, I guess,
Negative
there's
connotations
exactly,
too.
the perception is a witch, flying on the broomstick. Or
yes,
Nothing. It is true.
yes, it's true. I should be green and have a hat.
Correct.
No, it is someone who uses natural, in my perspective, it's someone who uses the tools around them, the feathers, the crystals, the candles, the herbs to heal and to work with, to draw energy. Just like I said, when you walked in my door, above my doorway, there's a reason for those scissors up above it.
Yeah, we saw that on the top of the doorsteps coming in.
In every room, there is a railroad spike. It's iron to keep the spirits out that I don't
Oh, interesting.
want. It's
Okay.
they have to be invited in.
Okay.
And
Interesting. So let's get to that. Let's get to that because New Orleans is known to be a very mystical city,
It is.
and they claim that there are spirits, roaming around. Is it true?
I've lived here all my life, and yes, I've seen things that I can't explain, and I've seen things that I don't ever want to see again.
Really? Like what?
The things that I don't want to see again is when objects move and there's nobody there. And the object is not a laptop or a book. It's more like a car moving a space. And no, just...
Really? Here in New Orleans, you've seen those? Interesting.
I used to sit up in the street and read. Why? For the fun of it. I didn't have to, but for the fun of it. With that said, there's so many things I saw. Apparitions walking down that. Things up in the sky above the church. Things of that nature. Voices that you hear your name call and you look, there's nobody there. Even the dog has barked and there's nothing there, and we all looking at each other going, whoa. The cards flipping over by themselves. It's a message, definitely. And I don't know, off of the top of my head, lately, there's been some activity because I do have what some people call a portal.
Okay.
And I had to shut that off because some ancestors were coming through that were very angry, and that's not
Really?
it's not my place.
I understand.
And so I have to make sure that whatever that anger is, show the love, give the respect, and help them along.
Yes, very well, very well. Happening here in this house?
And this house is so active, it's ridiculous. That's another reason why I have the railroad ties, is to try to keep things and
Really?
lights. To my landlady just bought this place, and I thought because she redid all the electricity that it would stop, but it hasn't.
Okay.
So, and yeah,
Sounds like a haunted house here that we're sitting in.
It is haunted. But
By whom would you say?
there's different people. There is a little girl. I don't know who she is. This house is 123 years old,
Okay.
by the way. And it's a typical New Orleans shotgun house. But anyway, there's a little girl. She doesn't seem lost. She just seems very happy and wants to be here. So
You've seen her? You've seen her spirit? You've seen her around?
I've seen her. She opens up my cabinet in the other room.
No way. Wow, this sounds like a horror movie. I mean, some people, seriously.
Sometimes it is a horror movie. Yes, it can be. But then again, it's knowing there's nothing to be afraid of. You know? I know fear and anger move people, But that's not, I think that if you use love and joy, you get a lot further than with the anger and the fear, you know, but that's just me.
Very well. Wow. Okay, now let's talk about who comes see you. Who do you work? I'm sorry if I use the word work for or with, but who do you help? I use that better word, right? Who comes see you and who are they?
Different clients, some of them are rock and roll stars, some of them are producers, some of them are executive producers, writers, musicians, artists, everyday mom, you know, who just can't seem to get her balance. Well, then let's teach. See, that's the other thing. People come to readers and think we're psychiatrists, and we're not.
Okay.
We listen very well, I'll give you that, but it's a matter of getting to the root of the situation and then teaching you how to maintain.
Okay.
I don't want you to keep coming back to me for readings because you're not, there's something there and it's the same answer. When I get that for the second time, I look at the person and I go, excuse me, darling.
I see. I see what you mean.
You know, let's try a different way.
Correct.
Because this is not working for you. To me, it's all about the evolution of your soul.
Definitely. And you do help them. Any well-known Haitian personalities, politicians coming to you?
There are politicians, but they're American. They're not.
Okay.
And
Nobody from Haiti?
no, not yet.
Not yet.
Yes.
Because we're so accustomed to this, and Haitian people live
It's a
into.
no, correct. Americans in the West do not think like this. You know, they do not. I think they kind of disconnected from nature, and that might be part of the issue.
Okay.
It's a way of life. It's not. It's a way of life.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to
It's a big-
say that to you.
I can feel you there. I'm going to ask you a question. I hope it's not, there's no stupid question, but let me ask this here. Let's put it in perspective. Way back in the days, people like Marie Laveau, people maybe like yourself, back in the days, being a witch will not be something legalized by the state. They've been
okay.
hunting you. And actually, you see where I'm going?
Yes. It's not completely illegal, or was back then. It was frowned down upon because they feared it, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
They feared it.
Now, in 1970-something or another, a young woman by the name of Onita was one of the first people in the United States that organized and was intelligent and had the skill set, knowledge of to form a religion. So she formed the first original order of, excuse me, I can't even say it, first order of witchcraft. And she was accepted by the state of Louisiana.
Oh, really?
As well as the United States. It got recognized. That's one of the few times outside of Salem that it was actually recognized.
Interesting.
So there was a covenant.
Oh, really? There is?
Yes, there was
Okay.
8 of them.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother story. And currently they're making a TV show about it. I think it's called Mayfair Witches.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and it's in production now. But
Very interesting. All right.
it is legal, but you can't sacrifice chickens.
Oh, okay. That's understandable.
Yes,
Animal
my-
rights.
Yeah, and correct. I have a PhD in leadership and management of nonprofits. So I help people start the nonprofit.
Okay.
So I've helped set up voodoo temples so that they can have that status.
Interesting.
So that's how I learned you can't do chickens.
You can do chickens. But
And the wording has to be very different too. the wording for the house, you know, because it took me a
what
good...
some would call the temples, right?
Yes, and it's very interesting.
Okay.
But yes, I've done that
Interesting.
several times for different
helped, yes.
different houses. Yes.
That's interesting. I don't know. I wonder if in New York it's the same legislation. But now let me ask you. So you do sacrifices also yourself? Chicken? I mean, you don't do it, but
No,
I'm asking.
I don't do that.
You don't do that. Okay. So now tell us before we end this, what do you do? And around yourself here in this room, I see feathers here. And I see so many things. They are I don't know what they are, but I see, of course.
My education.
Your books, many books, yes. And,
There's books.
do you have I say skulls here, but it's a fake one.
Actually, I do. I have skulls. They're on the altars in the other room.
Oh, you do have an altars. Oh,
I have about 11 altars in this household.
wow. Okay.
This is not. To me, it's normal, but it's not. My grandson is 7 years old, and he's still kind of hesitant to walk in here because Grammy's got strange things.
Yes.
And I don't think it's strange, but yeah, he respects. So, but there's so many different subcultures. The Mardi Gras Indians, which is part of that, goes back to the slaves and the voodoo. I mean, that's how Marie Laveau helped the slaves. New Orleans was really laxed with slavery, you know, mastering their how would you say this? They weren't strict masters. They were, but they weren't.
Okay.
And on Sundays they went to Congo Square.
Okay.
And that's where everybody congregated. So
Exactly.
they were free to do that.
I see.
And they weren't, you know.
How do you situate yourself here in this new world with all the technology, being a witch that you describe yourself being in? I mean, how do you see?
I am learning the technology very carefully and resentfully because I believe it takes part of the magic. It takes part of the energy because it is energy, right? So I've not learned how to work with it completely. One of my family, or extended family, cosmic family, one of my sons is in virtual reality. He has already built me a whole complete world. And I don't know how to use it, and I feel bad because he's gone to that extent, but I'm working with it. It's a whole complete world where I just need my laptop. I can be sitting in my car. I mean, anywhere, and can read virtually.
Correct.
And it's not Zoom. It's a whole complete different environment.
Very well.
And so it's very interesting. I think when I do readings over Zoom, it loses a little something, so I have to be extra.
I see.
You see?
I understand.
And I can do mediumship that way, but that's not the way to do mediumship. So I do my best to decline. You have to be here.
You have to be physically here.
Yeah. And
It's a physical contact.
Yes.
The energy is there when you're
correct.
sitting.
You know, you got to be respectful to the ancestor as well. And there's prayers. You just don't go, hey.
I know.
Hey, what you doing? Yeah, there's a ritual. I mean, I can do that if I'm walking through my house, but that's different
Definitely.
than
Somebody else.
reaching out to someone else. And there's still no guarantees. They don't always show up. It's just like Marie Laveau. That lady has got to be tired by now.
Really?
Think
Why
about
you say
it.
that? You think they're still getting her back to the physical world to do work?
Yes, I do believe that. But all of us need a rest.
Correct.
It's just like with God or Jesus. They keep calling them, but, let them rest.
Yeah. We want to thank you. And a message for the people that are watching. Of course, there will be Haitians, a lot of them, and they are, practitioners of voodoo. What would be a message to them coming from you, different practice, being a witch, to a voodoo priest or a voodoo priestess watching this?
Don't forget your freaking ancestors. Talk to them. cook them meals still. For goodness sake, say their names. Don't forget the ancestors and where you came from. And be love.
Wow.
And that goes for dog people. I'm so sorry. Or animals, you know. But don't forget.
Wow.
Because that's what has to be. We're all wrapped up in this technology. AI is not real. That's another reason why, you know, with the virtual reality, I don't know what to do with it. It's this. It's the interaction. Don't ever, you know, analog.
Correct. Let's stay analog instead of going digital.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And it's okay, but utilize it wisely.
Very well.
Don't do what you will.
Yeah.
Do thy will, but don't. If you can help someone, help them. Walk away. Be anonymous.
Yeah.
Be kind, for goodness sakes.
Definitely. Yes.
We've forgotten the humanity of it all, but
Yeah.
don't forget your ancestors.
That's nice.
Be respectful.
The ancestors. This is for the Haitian people. Now let me ask you to address the American people, the people of the United States. They are looking forward to eventually at the end of the year having a new president. What do you foresee?
You really asked me that question. I foresee civil war.
Here in America?
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe sooner than at the end of the year. We can't live like this. Somebody somewhere is going to stand up and go, "Excuse me, wait a minute." And they're going to be right. This is not what our forefathers had in the Constitution. Matter of fact, you cannot find that kind of information too much online anymore. It's been removed. I looked. I wasn't able to find it, but that's just me. Maybe I'm not searching in the right places. I don't care who wins as long as they do better.
I see what you mean.
It doesn't matter who did what. Just hopefully they're cognizant. And I don't care about the party. I understand this one has this beliefs and this one has this beliefs. But there is a common ground that goes back to be kind. They're all infighting and they're not addressing what really ought to be addressed. Infrastructures.
Yeah.
This is a 300-year-old infrastructure.
Yeah, I know.
Infrastructure. The original, do you know what New Orleans originally, its name is? Balbancha. Native Americans and the Middle Easterns. 3,000 years ago. It means land of tongues. This is where they traded because it's the mouth of the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
Who else knows that? Why don't they know that? Why are they not teaching that?
Well, I guess that's why we need you, Anastasia, to bring it out, to bring the information out.